Good evening, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. And for tonight's cigar talk, we'll be enjoying a Placencia. Let me make sure my audio, people have been telling me my audio's been messed up. So let me make sure that my audio is good to go, okay? Let me make sure that my audio is good. Bring this mic just a little bit closer here. Give me a second, fam. As we start to get into this discussion right here. Let me make sure everything is good. We got everything on point here. Make sure my camera angles are good. I'm just trying out different camera angles, whatever. So anyway, tonight we'll be enjoying a Placencia Alma del Campo cigar, okay? And we're going to get into the cigar talk tonight. And again, I just want to see you guys here. Let that focus in on the cigar, and there it is. Okay? So, a little bit about this cigar. This is a Gordo. When it comes to the cigar shapes and the profile of this cigar, it's a Gordo. For you guys who don't know too much about cigars, you get into cigars. This is a medium to full body cigar, okay? And let me see what the flavors they got listed here. Usually I just kind of give my own flavors, but tonight I'm going to read what type of flavors they have for this particular cigar. Now, with this cigar, they said that it's a milk chocolate brown wrapper giving off a sweet and bold aroma of dark cocoa, dark earth, leather, cedar, and dark fruit. Okay, whatever they say. And we're going to check for ourselves. I'm going to let you know if it's smooth, should you buy it, or leave it. Tonight, I'm not going to do this cigar that much justice. What I'm going to do a V cut, okay, not a full cut or punch, okay? Do my V cut over here. There it is. Okay. That's the V cut. Of course, like always, I'm going to burn the edges. Burning the edges here. So I get a clean, even burn. I probably burnt the edges a little bit too much. Then I'm going to toast the end, okay? Toast the end. Give it a swift. Okay, not too bad. Wonderful. Good evening, 187, and good evening, Clan Killer. I'm checking out, I'm trying these new camera angles so I can look left and right, be more interactive, whatever, right? So first things first, let's get the money out the way. I like to go to the stocks first of all. I like to go right to the stocks so you can get that, that feeling, that money, everything out of your system, okay? I don't even have words for it. But anyway, let's get into it. All right, so first and foremost, throughout the week, ladies and gentlemen, you see that I've been giving you these IPOs. Clear has already released its IPO. Again, Clear has already released its IPO. Now, if you can tell here, Clear released on June 30th of this year for $39. Now, I put my limited order price at $36. So the 2 shares I was going to buy, I'm only buying like 1.6 shares, and I'll show you that. Now, right out the gate, it jumped up around $42 per share, and then it decreased a little bit down to 40, and then it jumped back up to 49, 45, and then currently we're at $48 per share. So if you are investing in the stock right now, you have already made $9 per share, and this is Clear. This is the things at the airport and other places like healthcare facilities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? So let's look at positions I have. Like I told you before, I did a limited order of 2, but I only currently have 1.6 of this particular share. The pauses in between is me enjoying my cigar, okay? All right, so that's Clear. Do I believe that you should invest in it? I absolutely do. I believe that eventually the stock will reach $100 as security tightens, okay? Now, here's one thing to actually noticeably note. I can project what Clear is going to do because they're already in the healthcare verifying business. Look for Clear to start verifying people's vaccinations. Look for Clear to start verifying people's vaccinations. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not too far away from my mic. Okay, because I've been getting a lot of issues about my audio. So I don't want nobody crying about my audio. I hate when people cry about, you should just notify me. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. But anyway, okay. So that's the thing currently now when it comes to Clear. Now let's look into Duolingo. Now I'm letting you guys know about this IPO right now with Duolingo. Okay. Because I believe that Duolingo will be profitable. Let me just, there we go. And this does not have a IPO release date, but I am on the notifying list. So soon as I'll know, I'll let you guys know immediately, either through a video or through maybe a short clip or even a posting, okay? And as you can tell, Robinhood is tracking the filing, the price range, the final price, and then the IPO. I do want you guys to be aware of up and coming stocks so that way you guys don't have any excuse not to invest. And of course, I'm drinking my famous YouTube iced tea. And the reason why I went to YouTube iced tea is because YouTube was flagging my videos because I guess they was encouraging people to drink. I don't know. But YouTube iced tea, non-alcoholic. All right. Good evening, Jermaine Anderson, and also Teddy Woodson. All right, let's get into the conversation. Let's get off one of the first conversations. Let's talk about, let me see what I got for you guys tonight. I had a whole lineup for you guys. I think I got music playing. Okay, I'll let the music play. Here's the thing. Let's start talking about what I like to call religion payout. Let's talk about religion payout. No. 187. It is not cognac. Okay, it's not cognac. It's YouTube iced tea. But if it wasn't YouTube iced tea, it's not cognac. Okay, it's not cognac. It would be, if it was a drink, it probably would be like rum or something. I like a nice dark rum, but this is not rum. It's YouTube iced tea. But anyway, here we go. So when we talk about religion payouts, right? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday we had that discussion about how religions are one of the biggest businesses in the world, right? Especially in America, they have a lot of tax advantages, a lot of tax brackets. And here's the thing, when you take your spirituality out of religion, a church, a mosque, a synagogue, whatever you want to call it, it's just like any financial institution. It's just like any other institution. The congregation, the audience, the people of worship, whatever you want to call them, they are the customers. And you are getting sold on a message. And it's based upon the faith that they have built upon you since the day that you were born, more times than not. Now, some people came late into their faith, whatever that, religious faith may be. But nonetheless, you have been bred, you have been trained to be submissive to whatever religion you follow. So it's very easy to just give your money away, right? Because we'll go see guest speakers, philosophers, entertainers, comedians. They're just talking to you, right? Either making you laugh, making you cry, making you think. This one, they're selling salvation, okay? They're selling ascension to the heavens or to a higher plane of existence. And for years, I'm talking about not decades, we're talking about centuries. This has been working for every church, for people to come out, give their money, and receive a message Then go home feeling good for about an hour, then you forget the whole damn thing. Now, and of course, I want all the viewers to know this is an open discussion. At any time, please leave a message. I'm going to try to read most of my messages. Oh, and let me make sure that I invite anybody who wants to join this particular conversation. Right now, we're talking about the religion payout. I think it's important to talk about this over and over again. If you notice, more times when I'm doing my cigar talks, I talk about religion because I think it's very imperative that we understand what we give in our time, our effort, our money, our resources. We're sacrificing for our family. I remember when I was an avid churchgoer of the Christian faith, I was going to church at least 15 to 17 days out of a month. So half of my time. So most of my time, I get off from work, I rush home, I scarf down my dinner, I'm in the church the rest of the night until 9. Go home, take a shower, get up work. Then, that was like a Monday night. Wednesday night was Bible study. Friday night was intercessory prayer. Saturday night, depending on what Saturday was, it was probably a church giveaway, or the first Thursdays of the month was marriage counseling or ministers meeting or yada, yada, yada. You get what I'm getting at, right? But the point about this is keeping butts in seats at church in order to get a religion payout. Church is one of the few places where the only thing you have to do is say a couple of prayers, do a couple of sermons. You give anywhere from $50 to $200. And some people give $20 per visit, right? So you go to, say, for instance, you go to church for Bible study and on Sundays, right, for your regular church service. You done gave $40 in 1 week. And then if you multiply that times 4, you're already paying one of the utilities. And then times that amount of money of the average churchgoer. Let's say the average churchgoer gives $100 a month. And the church is, let's say, 1,000 people. You do the math. You do the math. Now, I understand some of these pastors, some of these preachers, some of these reverends, this is their full-time job or their full-time calling. And I'm not speaking out against any church, okay? Muslim, Christian, Judaism, Hindi, doesn't matter. Buddhism, doesn't matter. All of these are retaining or gaining, and people are giving away money each and every time they go to church. And this is very important that you understand is church is the one place that you need some sort of validity, that it's valid, your worship is valid, other than someone tapping you on the shoulder and telling you repeatedly that this is real. Just pray. Pray until something happens. Pray until it's affirmed or confirmed by 2 other people in the church or 3 other people in the church. And then you know when it comes to fruition that it was God who got you through, whatever God that may be. I'm just here to make you think. I'm just trying to make you think about it. Then there's a lot of conflicting information in all these religious documents about being rich versus being poor. They glorify being poor, but then they have conflicting and contradicting statements about being rich. I think it's in Malachi in the Holy Bible about that if you do certain things that God will open up a window and will rain down blessings into your bosom. Okay. There's another verse that I like to go over, that a rich man going to heaven is like a camel trying to go through the eye of a needle. Religion is the one thing that you have no proof of, but you give a portion of your money to, at least 10% of your money to each and every month, but you have no proof. but it feels a certain spirit. It feels a certain soul of yours that you know if you pass away on this physical earth, that there's a spiritual world, there's a spiritual place that you could possibly go to. But we don't have any proof of it. The only proof that you can argue is your faith. You know how many people that have tried to debate me about this? But here's the thing about debating me, and I don't really like debating anybody. I like for two people with different sets of opinions to sit down and actually have a conversation. Okay, we don't have to agree, but let's have an intelligent, spiritual, religious conversation, and everybody walk away being okay. But it's really hard to do that nowadays because everything will get you canceled. You speak, you know, you have freedom of speech, but if you speak out against certain behaviors, certain things, you get canceled. I'm just here to make you think, because when I think about the religion Payout, when I think about all these mega ministers, all these mega bishops, all these mega reverends, all these mega, I think about the millions of dollars that they have. And just like any other business, they will give some money away. They will have some programs. They'll have some sort of shelter or charity that they give away. Okay. But at the same time, they write it off. And churches essentially don't even pay taxes, but they write it off and they still get money back from who? The federal government. Teddy Wood said that Buddhism is a new religion. And Teddy, I don't know if Teddy saw the same thing I saw. Teddy, did you see the 24 black women that was coming back from the Dominican Republic that all had BBL surgery? They all had BBL surgery. This is ridiculous. Our women who naturally have good, nice butts, okay, melanated people naturally have nice butts. Some of us don't, but there's a good portion of us that do. Here's the thing. These women I saw from the ranges of 25 to 45. Remember when you were growing up and all the girls were cute? I mean, not all, but you know what I mean. A lot of the girls were cute in shape and they never worked out. They never worked out. They started getting around in their mid-20s and then it showed that they never worked out. We call it Buddhism. When you go to the DR and get a surgery to get your butt fixed, get your butt lift, get your butt implanted. That's the new religion. Killer 187 says, booty TNT bomb surgery. Good evening, Maddox. Maddox says, that was insane. I know, it's crazy. Okay? That's crazy. But I really want you guys to take the religion talk, the religion payout talk very, very seriously, because I'm not trying to change anyone's faith. But I really want you to think about what can you prove in your religion other than what's in a book that somebody wrote, other than the faith that you was indoctrinated in from a small child, or maybe you went to jail or prison, or you came, you had a second coming, or you had a change of thought, a change of heart, a change of spirit. I just want you guys to think about it. I just want you guys to think about it. Because there's a lot of rich people living really great lives. And a lot of these men and women are men and women of God. Whatever God you serve. Again, Buddhism, Hindi, Judaism, Christianity, being a Muslim, Catholicism. It doesn't matter. The spaghetti monster. And before I move on, tonight's evening, the candle for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that smells so good. Tonight we're going to do a cedar. That's a cedar right there. And this one is really a smoke odor eliminator for my my little Ross Pit Studio. That's the name of this area, Ross Pit Studio. And for you guys there on Instagram, that is a candle. It helps to kill the smell in here. I also have a rabbit ear on the wall that you guys can't see. Let's see, I'm lighting this. I got this darn ceiling fan on. Give me a second, family. There we go. I got that burning in the background. All right, let's move on. We have a lot to color. We have a lot to cover, okay? Now, have you guys been noticing? Now, we've talked about the Asian hate executive order that Joe Biden signed, right? And that's perfectly fine. I'm not hating on any group who's going to get protections under the law. But what I will do is hate on the fact that melanated people around the world, but we're going to talk about specifically the United States of America, that we've never received protections under the law. Never. We've never received protections under the fucking law ever. Oh yeah, we're going to get into the discussion tonight. Police officer fired after shooting black couple in Illinois. This happened, I believe, last year. And for those on Instagram, my YouTube channel is Financial Literacy 101. You can see I'm sharing my screen if you guys want to join in. Good evening, pretty girl Kiki, and as well as daughter Shina. Nice to see you ladies here tonight. I also see Conscious Music. Thank you for showing up. He said, what about the Black Caucus? We're going to get into that. This is just one story out of many. Let me move on. What about this one? Shooter who killed two black people wrote white supremacist rhetoric. And this is a story, okay? It says authorities investigated a Massachusetts shooting that left two black people dead as a hate crime after investigators found some troubling white supremacist rhetoric in the gunman's handwriting, officials said Sunday. And Suffolk County District Attorney Rachel Rollins, who identified the suspect gunman as a 20-year-old Nathan Allen, said during a press conference on Sunday, the investigator found anti-Semitic and racist statement against black individuals. But we don't get no black hate executive order. We don't get that. You know why? We have too much darn melanin in our skin. Sometimes I question, why us? And it's easy. It's easy because they have figured out a way. First and foremost, white supremacists are on code. White supremacists are on code, and every white person is not a white supremacist. Every white person is not a racist. Now, whether they know it or not, majority of white people do benefit from white supremacy. Majority of white people do benefit from white supremacy by the way of white privilege. By the way of white privilege. Now, some of this are knowing to them and they just don't care, and I understand. And some of them are just blind to know that they have white privilege. But this is the hate that we essentially go through each and every day, whether by the police or simple citizens who are race soldiers on code, making sure that we keep our numbers diminished and killing us. Now, here's the thing. This brother right here, let me blow this up. No mass protests. Listen, no mass protests after Honolulu police shot and killed a black man. And it says right here, family, that Honolulu police shot and killed a black man 3 months, 90 days after he moved to Hawaii with his wife, believing it would be safer place to raise their 2 black children. And if you notice, this is ABC News. If you notice, family, this is ABC News, and ABC News didn't say mixed kids. They didn't say one, the kids are black and white. They said black children. Can we see that again? So know that the dominant society, regardless if a black man gets with a white woman or a white woman gets with a black man or a black woman gets with a white man, when those children are born, these are what? Black children. Okay, let me blow it up again. These are black children, even though that this black guy's wife is white. But do we get a executive order for protections under the federal law for the hundreds of years of discrimination, of hate and xenophobia, discrimination, racial bias, police killings, citizen killings of our people? Do we get that? No, we don't get that. Every time melanated people come up with a slogan or a term, there's a group that snatches the glory, that snatches the shine, that snatches the spotlight. They got Asian hate, we got black hate. People love to hate black people. That one story that I showed you guys, of this particular one right here, he killed these black people just because they were black. Reports have it that he walked past a white couple prior to, and he did absolutely nothing. He did absolutely nothing, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we go through. And as melanated people, especially foundational Black Americans, and those people who ride with foundational Black Americans, whether you be from the Caribbean, the UK, or the continent of Africa, we need to be on code. Everybody's talking about we are different people. The Caribbeans are different people. The Islanders are different people. The foundational Black Americans in the US are different people. The black people in the UK are different people. The people from all the countries in Africa and the different tribes that speak the different languages and dialects are different people. But there's one thing that we have in common, that the white supremacists and those who are submissive and are puppets for the white supremacists, they have one thing in common. They either share the same color or the same code. See, I could be a white Hispanic, but as long as the dominant society is putting down black people, I'm still on top. Donald, good evening. Kiki said, how are you, Ross? I'm good. Thank you, fam. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Conscious Music says the South African man was killed. Very sad. Okay. Elliot Finness, he says the very laws protect black folk are being watered down by the inclusion of people of color clause. Tomorrow, white men will be the winner due to everyone else classed as people of color. I agree. Have you noticed, family, have you noticed that when other groups of people get economic initiatives, when other groups of people get protections under the law, when other people get reparations like 31 billion, when other people get incentives from voting for one political party or another, have you noticed that every time that black people are brought up, the headline will say Black Americans, African Americans. But when you read the fine print, and I've been telling you guys forever, read the fine print, you start to see words like urban, diversity, minorities, people of color. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, once again, that all of those trick words include Hispanics, Asians, Arabs, Jewish people, Islander people, you name it. It covers everybody. It even covers white women when you come to minorities. And the only thing that I'm saying is that we need something for ourselves. Is that too hard? Well, it is too hard because it goes against the white supremacist code, which brings me into another topic. We're moving right along. And now, once I cover this last topic, of course, I'm going to be reading your comments, but we're going to be going back and forth, back and forth. There's no flow. We're just going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it tonight. For you ladies and gentlemen who are just showing up, the cigar for this evening is the Plasencia Alma de Campo, okay? This is a medium to bold cigar. And for you guys who are interested in this cigar is around $18 per stick. And also, of course, I have some prices here. If you guys want a case, let me show you that very quickly. Give me a second here, family. If you guys want to buy a box of 10, maybe run you $145. Okay, then you have the different. I'm smoking on a Gordo right now. So a box of 10 of the Gordos is 170, 171. Okay, just to let you guys know. Anyway, next. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. Some people would like to call him Pill Cosby. But let's talk about this. This is a very volatile conversation that I may have half of you agree, half of you disagree, all of you agree, all of you disagree. But here's the thing about it. Let's set the premise. Bill Cosby, black man, who is worth $1 billion, went through his life. I think Bill Cosby is in his 70s. Correct me if I'm wrong, family. I believe he's in his mid 70s. No one brought up any allegations against Bill Cosby until when? Until Bill Cosby came on the scene and said, you know what? I want to buy NBC. Bill Cosby said, I want to buy NBC. And then people were like, hold up, you want to buy NBC? How much money do the Huxtables and you selling Jell-O pudding pops, how much money did he make from doing that? How much money did he make from selling Jell-O pudding pops and on the Cosby Show? Now, some men, maybe most women, may not agree what I'm about to break down. Now, before I move on, I like what Kiki says here. She said, I hope the men of the community find solutions to protect us women and the children. No one wants to bring children into this men. Now, here's the thing, Kiki. Us being on code with each other, men and women, we have to protect each other. Women can't just stay home. We all got to learn we all have to learn to protect ourselves and exercise our amendment rights when it comes to bearing arms. We all have to play our part. We don't have enough numbers for women and children to stay at home. If you have a 10-year-old and older, train them. We have our son in jiu-jitsu. After that, he's going to boxing. After that, we want to train him on firearms. Because we can't be around our child all the time. He needs to learn how to protect himself at all times. He also knows how to conduct himself in public. He knows how to handle the police to have a higher chance of surviving. Or he'll end up like Bill Cosby. were certain allegations against you. Now, some people are calling out Bill Cosby. Oh, he should have never messed with those white women. I'm not going to get into the color bait, the color race situation with that. You date and love who you want to, okay, at this particular conversation. But let's break down what really occurred. Let's break down what mass media has told the black community to hate Bill Cosby, but they never told you all of the intricate details about what really occurred. First and foremost, Bill Cosby was not afforded due process. Second of all, Bill Cosby was not convicted of rape. Let me tell you what Bill Cosby was convicted of. Bill Cosby was convicted of aggravated indecent assault. And let's break this down even further. I know there's some fine print. I'm going to try to blow this up as much as I can here, family. Let's just read this one. It says that aggravated indecent assault, except as provided in sections blah, 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 relating to statutory sexual assault, relating to involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, relating to sexual assault, a person who engages in penetration, however slight, of the genitals of anus of complaint with a part of the person's body for any purpose or other than good faith, medical, hygienic, or law enforcement procedure commits aggravated indecent assault if the person does so without the complaint's consent, the person does so by forcibly compulsion, the person does so by the threat of forcible compulsion that would prevent resistance by a person of reasonable resolution, the complaint is unconscious or the person knows that the complaint is unaware that the penetrations are occurring. Right here. This is one of them, family. The complaint is unconscious or the person knows that the complaint is unaware that the penetration is occurring. Also, the person substantially impaired the complaint's power to appraise or control his or her conduct by administering or employing without the knowledge of the complaint drugs, intoxicants, or other means for the purpose of preventing resistance. Very important that we break this down, because the one thing that you guys have to understand that this case first started off as a civil suit. It first started off as a civil suit that was behind closed doors, that was written on closed dockets so the public wouldn't know what was going on. And again, the premise for this is that Bill Cosby is worth $1 billion that was about to buy NBC. Then all of a sudden, all of these women come out the woodwork. Well, he raped me and he raped me. He gave me a Quaalude. He did this. Now, if you guys want to look up Quaaludes was a subscription that Bill Cosby had. So he didn't obtain the Quaaludes illegally. Again, he did not obtain the Quaaludes illegally, first and foremost. We got to break it down, don't we? We have to break it down so we understand that Bill Cosby didn't break any laws. Okay? Didn't break any laws. Number two, there was no evidence. There was no evidence in the case. This is what you call mob justice. Because of the backlash of the people, public cry out, that is why Bill Cosby went to jail for a year and some change. Good evening, every man investing. And this is what we have to understand. When the dominant society hang our men and women out to dry, just because they plaster it all over the news, you shouldn't be the first one like, yeah, I think he did it. I think he did it. What the hell do you know if he did it or he didn't do it? Let's break it down. First and foremost, Bill Cosby never lied. They said, Bill, did you give Quaaludes to women to have sex with them? Bill Cosby said, yeah. Because did you know back in the 70s and back in the 80s that Quaaludes was also considered an aphrodisiac? Did you know that? Did you know back in the 70s and 80s, Quaaludes was also known to be an aphrodisiac? It was also used to help you to go to sleep. It was used for a couple of things. The second question, Bill Cosby, did the women that you gave the Quaaludes to, was they aware of you giving them a Quaalude? Bill Cosby said yes. And of course, it's like any good investigator, it's like any good prosecutor, they ask that question 100 times over in 30 different ways. And Bill Cosby said they knew I gave them a Quaalude over and over and over and over again. And there was no evidence other than his testimony, other than all these women coming out saying that Bill Cosby drugged them and took advantage of them. Now, out of all these women, did you know only like 3 or 4 of them he actually had sex with? See, ladies and gentlemen, you have to do your research before you hang your own. Because if this was your uncle, if this was your grandfather, if this was your father, you would want to know every detail of the case before you say, yeah, I think he did it. And people started, even the black community started to hang Bill Cosby out first with cool names or derogatory names like Pill Cosby. This is part of that black hate. We should be smart enough to know. We should be smart enough to know that the people, our people, that they prompt up in mass media and they automatically convict them first. They convict them. This is how you do it. If you want to get rid of somebody, if you want to lock somebody up as powerful, as rich as Bill Cosby, as influential as Bill Cosby, the first thing you do is convict him publicly. You convict him publicly. That way his own people, his own family, his own friends start to doubt what he did was right or wrong. Now, I was looking at this video on the Black News Channel, which I don't subscribe to at all, with Lamar Hill. Let me tell you something. He couldn't make it on mass media for whatever reason. He got fired from CNN from saying something derogatory or anti-Semitic or something. Then less than a year, he gets his own news channel that's funded, believe it or not. They showed the group of men who fund the Black News Channel. All of these men were white. And he made a comment on his Twitter about how Bill Cosby committed such a heinous crime. Now, men, let me speak to you very quickly. How many of you don't have to say it in the chat. You don't have to raise your hand. I just want you to think about this. How many of you invited a girl over that you wanted to sleep with, took a girl out that you wanted to sleep with, and in the back of your mind, like, man, I'm gonna get her twisted. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do X, Y, and Z. Who's ever done that? You've done it. You've done it. Because we all know when you drinking, YouTube iced tea, and when you smoking, whatever of your choice is, it lets your guard down. And I'm not saying you're giving that young lady anything to let down her guard so you to take advantage of her, but whatever she wanted to do and probably wouldn't have done it, she is now more susceptible. She's more at ease. She's more calm. She's more relaxed to do so. Men do it all the time. Why do you go into a club and buy girls drinks? There's layers to this. First and foremost, you want to seem like a gentleman. You may be a gentleman, and you want to get her number, and you might like the way she looks, and you want to take her out. But how many of you men met a girl at the club, and took her home that night. How many? It reminds me of the case of Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson has done a full 180. After his fighting career, Mike Tyson went downhill fast. Now Mike Tyson is fighting again. Mike Tyson businesses, Mike Tyson on TV getting paid. But remember when a certain individual showed up to his hotel room 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Ladies, let me give you a bit of advice. I don't care how much you like a man. If you show up at a guy's hotel room at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's only one thing that we can talk about, and it ain't gonna be no talking. If you, let me come over to your hotel room and chill. Chill and do what? No. You coming over here, there's only one thing that's going to occur, and then the second thing is sleep. There's only one thing that's going to occur, then the second thing is sleep. So men, let me see what you guys have to say. If anybody have any comments, I want to make sure I'm not, ignoring the people. When Dale says here, he says, I truly do not believe all those women. Yes, Cosby definitely did something inappropriate, but that was a hit job. Okay, I'll address that. Elliot Finance says, corporations were upset at Cosby when they learned of a very large oil reserve under the property he owns in the neighborhood and refused to sell the oil companies. Thank you, Elliot, because a lot of people didn't know that he was actually worth $1 billion. They didn't know he was worth $1 billion. Now, the dominant society knew when he tried to buy NBC. They're like, well, how you going to buy NBC? We got you here $50 million. And they started seeing his financials. They said, damn, Bill Cosby worth $1 billion? Elliot says, any man in the 70s could have been put in jail because of the free love culture. There were groupies at the Playboy Mansion where the woman went to exclusively to get high and get laid. See, in Hollywood, if you listen to any actor, actress, there's this Hollywood culture that people, they just spend their money. They sleep with each and everybody. It's an orgy. It's an orgy fest. They do drugs. They drink. They just party. Now, all of a sudden, Bill Cosby, well-known man, worth $1 billion. And when women heard worth $1 billion, oh, quaaludes. Shannon says, many women know that there's only certain things going on at certain times of the night. We ain't naive. Thank you, Shina. Thank you. Thank you, sister. Why the hell are you coming over to my house at 1 a.m.? Talking about you want to watch a movie. Listen, the only movie we watching is Us in the Mirror, okay? Watch it. Byron Whitehead says, I believe T.I. situation should be not guilty. Okay, I agree. Until more evidence, more information come out. And then again, going back to Bill Cosby, did you know that Bill Cosby got incarcerated without due process? That's part of the amendment. You got to do due process. They did not do due process. Again, the public, black, white, Asian, whoever, was calling Bill Cosby, Pill Cosby, and he got convicted off of mob justice. Mob justice. Not justice under the law. Wendell says, Bill is the man, though, good with his money. Possibly not true sexual assault occurred. No, there's no evidence. Last but not least, I want you to think about this, men. Picture that today. And picture that with you was giving a woman some regular old YouTube iced tea. You guys just was hitting it back. And she knows what YouTube iced tea can do. Everybody knows what YouTube iced tea can do. It makes you more relaxed. It makes you calm. And if you drink too much, you might get sick. But the one thing, and most people, even men, you let down your guard a little bit. You start spilling the truth. They call it truth serum. So let me drink a little bit more because I only want to speak the truth here. What's going on Instagram? We got Monty, we got Shadiness. And see, I just want to speak to people who have an open mind about this. Because I know how volatile this conversation could be. I know how some people may not side, but I'm breaking it down for you to think about it in the way that I had to think about it before I just convict another black man. Before I convict another black man. How long is going to take our people to understand that we are considered the underclass and that the dominant society, those white supremacists, would do anything to keep us in check, to keep us incarcerated, to kill us before we reach our full potential. And if you think you're successful by your own merits and hard work, that is partially true. You are successful as much as the white supremacist society wants you to be successful. Because at any time, they can bring allegations against you and shut it all down. They can shut this shit down. So here's my philosophy. Before you convict one of our people, man, woman, or child, first and foremost, learn as much about the case, the information, the evidence, and the rules under the law that the prosecutor, the DA, must follow. Then, even with that, without a shadow of a doubt, because in this day and age and all the information we found out in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they were still writing falsified statements on black people to get us incarcerated, to get us to the electric chair, to be on death row. See, my thing is, every now and again, I'll speak out against certain people. Well, more times than not, I try to shut my damn mouth about our people. I try to inform our people that we are harming ourselves by the divide. You ever heard of the term divide and conquer? We are already conquered and we're still being divided. We are already conquered and we are still being divided. Tell me where majority of melanated people live around the world. We live in the slums. We live in the ghettos. We live in the projects. We live in low-income housing. We live in Section 8. We are also known as the undesirables. Okay? We're also known as the deplorables. We have many names. And you need to be aware of the systematic system of racism, the systematic system of white supremacy. And as I told you before, what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, that white supremacy operates in all activities of life. That includes religion. That includes religion. Here's the thing. If you play into white supremacy's hands, if you become a shield for white supremacy, and you can become a shield as white supremacy as a black person. If you become a puppet of white supremacy, then guess what? I want you guys to really set your mind in this place. If you become a puppet, if you become a shield, if you become a spokesperson for white supremacy, you know what occurs? You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Because didn't Oprah Winfrey speak out against Bill Cosby? Didn't Oprah Winfrey want to do a documentary on Bill Cosby, but she didn't want to do a documentary on Epstein, her friend, who supposedly took his life in his jail cell? I don't believe that. I believe there was a lot more people involved in that ring that they couldn't let out because he was going to talk. All right, let's talk about it. All right, Kiki says, who was Bill Cosby's lawyer? So incompetent. And then we got No Name. He said, peace, brother. What's going on, No Name? Nice to see you here today, this evening, sir. We got Ellie. He says, the people of power really wanted to hurt Bill Cosby. Did anyone notice that Cosby and changed really when he was taken to jail? Think about it. 80 years old. Thank you. He's 80. And legally blind. WTF. And we got Maddox. We need to counsel her. She's a danger to the community. Yes, Oprah been eyeing him from some time on this. Indeed. Family, we have to stop dividing ourselves. We have so many issues in the Black community that the worst thing that you can possibly do is convict your own before you have all the information. Let me turn this up real quick. I like this beat. Don't convict your own people before you have all the damn information. Because here's the thing. Just because you subscribe to a certain news channel, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, Fox News, all of them, CNNBC. Just because you subscribe to a certain church, just because you subscribe to a certain group, the first and foremost thing you have to be is on code with your people. We have a lot of infighting that we need to solve first. We have a lot of our Black intellectuals going back and forth. We're talking about Black hate. I know you guys have been following the whole Kwame Brown and Dr. Boyce Watkins. I like both of these brothers. I listen to both of these brothers, but I hate when our Black people go back and forth against each other publicly. See, my thing is the dominant society used shields and puppets to attack Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown was quiet for 20-something years. Then he started talking back at those people who was messing with him, Black hate, that was talking about him, Black hate, other than his basketball career. Then Dr. Boyce Watkins came out and said something publicly to have an intelligent discussion. But in my opinion, when I heard Kwame Brown say, hey, listen, you could have came to me privately instead of doing a public, because Dr. Boyce Watkins, he always come out with some intelligent thoughts and critical thinking points. I may not agree with all of them, but I respect the guy. I respect Kwame Brown as well. But there's some things you shouldn't touch. There are some things you shouldn't touch, family, especially public. There's some things you shouldn't touch publicly. Hold up, my fan didn't cut off. Hold on. Give me a second, fam. I gotta turn this fan back on. It's hot as hell in here. Let me turn this fan back on. There we go. All right. Let's talk about it. Now, No Name says, he says African Americans. No Name, I'm not gonna use the term African American. I'm trying to really change my vocabulary when it comes to African American. I want to say foundational Black Americans. Net worth set to be zero by 2050. Post-pandemic, probably 2048, 20 plus million plus illegal people in the USA, still unequal access to quality education, high school. The question is it really worth saying in foundational Black Americans at this point? If yes, what the hell is the plan? Automation is around the corner. I hear you, brother. I do. I hear you. But let me tell you this. We have more issues in the Black community. And this is why I started Financial Literacy 101, because let me tell you something. Without money, there's nothing you can do. Without money, there's nothing you can do. Without money, there's nothing you can do. When we go to the streets and we cry out to the world, we cry out to the world court and we say, help us. This country has been systemically, constantly, continuously killing us and incarcerating us, keeping us unemployed, destitute, poor, which creates a ripple effect in our communities. Did you know the largest portions of Americans that are unemployed are Black people? And with that being said, you know what that does? It does the same thing when the third-ranked Nazi Germany did to the Jews when they stripped them of their titles. They stripped them of their bank accounts. They stripped them of their housing. Even the Jews in their concentration camps, even the Jews in their ghettos was doing some infighting. When you take a man's resources, when you take a man's ability to feed his family and a woman's ability to feed his family, what other means do I have to provide? Now, some of you may go against this and say, well, you know, I did it. Why can't he? See, the dominant society will allow a few of us to be somewhat successful or to have a manageable amount of debt that we can obtain monetary, physical, materialistic items. I saw a video the other day of Kodak Black on a yacht just throwing money in the ocean. My first thought was, look at this stupid mother. That's my first thought. That was my first thought. He could be giving that money to a homeless shelter. He could give it to the Black community that he grew up in. He could have done so much with his money. But at the same time, I said, you know what? He earned that money. He could do whatever he wants with that money. The best part of me was like, man, if I had that amount of money, I couldn't even imagine what I could do for the Black community. I couldn't even imagine. There's so many things I can do to help Black communities, especially Black communities in DC, where I'm from. See, here's the thing. Before we go out to different states and different counties, we need to help where we grew up at first. I mean, or whatever you live at now. But help the community that you live in if they need your help and support. And if you live in a Black community, more times than not, there are a few prosperous Black communities. Okay. I saw one in Houston. I forgot the name of that Black community in Houston. Really nice houses, property value good, everything was well. But there are a lot of Black communities that we know that are just simply the ghetto, the slums, where people get killed, sell drugs. Men and women are prostituting their bodies. I mean, we know the systemic problems that occur in the Black community. And I want to tell you guys this because there's a lot of people who look like us. There's a lot of people that look like us from our own communities who made it out, from other countries that come over here, that were born here, and will tell you that you ain't shit because I did it, you didn't do it. But what they don't understand is they're playing right into the hands of white supremacy, divide and conquer. I saw something on Twitter where this young female had a shirt on and said, "This booty is not for colored men." And she was a dark-skinned sister. She was not FBA. She was a dark-skinned sister with a shirt said, "This booty is not for colored men." You know what that booty. But again, I mean, I don't really care about that because she was like morbidly obese. Then I saw another. It was something, a short video clip on Tariq Nasheed's Twitter channel, and it was this black non-FBA woman. This black non-FBA woman was basically saying, let me get this right. The FBA women were saying, hey, that black men and women should stay together because we have security, we can build, she was saying some positive things. The non-FBA woman comes in and basically saying, oh, my people was never oppressed. Bullshit. I believe she was from one of the countries in Africa, and now she was definitely not Ethiopian. Last time I checked, majority of Africa was colonized. Last time I checked, the dominant UK society went over to Africa and colonized almost the entire continent. She said that her people was never oppressed. I know she's a millennial. I know she has to be a millennial. But family, the one thing you can't do is argue with black shields for either the Democratic or the dominant society and white supremacy. You can't argue with puppets, black coons, black Sambos that are caping for the white supremacy society. Kiki, FBA means Foundational Black Americans. FBA means this right here, that your roots, your lineage stems from the history of this country back from 1526. Now, I know a lot of you may not be familiar with 1526. You should look up the 100 black slaves that were brought to this land in 1526. I know most of you are thinking about 1619. But prior to 1619, there was 100 black slaves that came over here that the Spanish brought over here in 1526 and started to colonize the black natives and the so-called Mongolian-looking, white-looking Native Americans mixed. Those 100 black slaves, black people that came over here as slaves, they landed between, I believe, South Carolina and Georgia. Look it up. I'm not making this up, family. But it's important that you know your history. Now, here's a disclaimer. One of your parents, in order for you to be considered an FBA, a Foundational Black American, just one, has to have a lineage in this country. Because I know a lot of people, where my father's from Trinidad, my mother's from Trinidad and Tobago, or my mother's Jamaican or something like that, or my father's from Nigeria, but my mom is from America. You're still considered an FBA because your lineage is still here. You still have a family lineage either on your mother or father's side that stems from the establishment of this country. Let's see here. Wendell says, agreed. I may have been misguided myself, but I can definitely spot a weak beta like Mark Lamont Hill. Thank you. Judge Joe Brown gave him that work. Thank you. He did give him that work, didn't he? Kiki says, I just keep quiet on Black issues. I don't think it's my place to speak on it. Why is that, Kiki? Why is that? I know you said that your family is from is both your mom and dad, you said from Africa or from the Caribbean? But see, here's the thing, Kiki. I speak in terms of cohesion, unification, right? If you are non-FBA, that doesn't divide us, especially if you're on code with us. You get what I'm trying to say? You understand the disparities, because FBA, non-FBA, if you have melanated skin, you're going through the same things that we're going through. Now, the whole FBA thing really comes into play when we start talking about reparations. When we start talking about reparations, that's when the FBA. But when it talks about equal justice for melanated people, laws, enactments, bills, then that's applicable to the whole worldwide system of Pan-Africanism that we need to be unified. Because there's melanated people, there's Black people from the UK that's on code with foundational Black Americans. There's people from Africa, from the different many countries in Africa that's on code with foundational Black Americans. There's many people from the Caribbean that's on code with foundational Black Americans. But there are a lot of coons from those areas too. There are a lot of sambos and buck dancing that come from those countries as well. All right. No Name says, there are plenty of foundation Black Americans who are successful entrepreneurs in corporate America. They can be found here on YouTube. Tell me, why don't Black men learn from these men? Come on, man. Here's the thing. Let me be respectful. There's a lot of our people who are doing horribly bad. I don't care if they have a nice car, nice clothes, but the bank account tells all. There's a lot of us who are doing horribly bad. And when you look at us in comparison to other races, we are at the bottom. We have stayed at the bottom, and there's proof and evidence. Federal laws, state laws, county laws, district laws that continue to undermine Black people in this country. So these Black men, these Black people you see on YouTube that are doing well, is because we're only 1% of the population, okay? Not even 1%. We are 0.1% of the population that's doing well when you compare those things to other people. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Because sometimes statistics show us everything, and we need to be well informed, and we need to have information, because when we just speak out of emotions, your emotions will get the best of you. That's why you have to stay analytical and back what you say, statistics, evidence, etc. Okay. I see that all right, let's look at this. Let me get the information, family, before I pop it on the screen. Okay. Now, let's first look at this, family. Can I show you guys this? Let me show you this. That's not what I want to show you. Black population in the U.S., 48.2 million. And we're going to keep breaking this down so you guys understand our population in America. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, this is including immigrants, Black immigrants, okay? All right. We go down here, black alone or with another race, 14.7. Black alone, 13.4. So we're black alone, 13.4. We got non-Hispanics, and the numbers keep going back and forth. Okay. I wanted to show you the population before I do a deep dive into the financials of it all. Let me make sure I get this on. Let me make sure I get this on the screen here. Let me make sure. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. This is how much our people are making. And it says median weekly earnings by age. When compared to other races, 25 years and over, we're only making $842 compared to $1,000. And as you can look at it, this is almost $200 more that other races are making more than we are. 25 years and over, $900. Here's another $200 discrepancy compared to who? All other races. Okay. And this information is not people just making up numbers. This information is coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, okay, of 2021. Let's look at the wealth gap that's compared through time with different presidents that has been in the pulpit. And I call it the pulpit because presidents preach. That's all they do. And they win your vote. Now from LBJ all the way to Trump, what's the one thing you see here? Now, the name of this channel, where I'm getting this from, is blackdemographics.com. That's blackdemographics.com. And they get their information from federal sites. And we look here at 43,000 family, $43,380. It decreased under George Bush. Then it decreased under Obama. Then slightly as Obama was leaving office, it started to increase, and then it leveled out with Donald Trump. Okay. I'm not going to get too into the weeds here, but as we look at these particular numbers, family, we can see how the discrepancies are. And they're showing it all the way up to 2018. So this is up to date. Majority of Black people in America, we're right here at $50,000. Black men and women, the average median pay of Black men and women in America, we make anywhere from $42,000 to $52,000. That is the majority. Let me let you just glance at these numbers. Family, I just want to show you that. And Kiki, I see your message. You're still family, okay? Now, Kiki says something very truthful here, and I can understand this. But Kiki, I give you honor, sister. I give you honor. Let me tell you why. Let me read your message first. Kiki says, I'm an immigrant. I never really found my place in the Black American space. Don't really understand white supremacy the same way. Having grown up around majority of Black people, I'm just grateful to be in this country. Kiki, I give you honor, sister, for acknowledging that. Now, Kiki, let me ask you this question, sister. What country are you from? Can you please list in the chat, what country are you from? So we can break this down, because believe it or not, you probably, more times than not, it's a very, very high percentage that you have experienced white supremacy. You just didn't see it, but you was affected by it. You was affected by it. What country are you from? Let's get that out the way, okay? No Name says, I'm listening and learning, brother. Excuse any of my ignorance. I'm from the UK, 23 years of age, and wish to learn more about you brothers and sisters across the pond. Of course. Hey, No Name, I'm inclusive, brother. I'm inclusive. We're all family, okay? But there are some coons out there. There's some sandbugs out there from other countries that speak against us. Okay, they think we are the stepchildren to everybody else, but we're not. We're the ones. Foundational Black Americans are the ones who built this country. We're the ones who built the structures. We're the ones who built the railroads. We've done so much that helped everybody else except ourselves. That's what we need to understand. What our ancestors have done for us, fighting for civil rights, voting rights, all these things, okay, the fight is still not over. But we've laid the groundwork for immigrants from all over the world. It don't matter what color immigrant you are. Foundational Black Americans laid the groundwork, the foundation for you to come over here to be successful. Now, Kiki says that she is from the Congo. Well, Kiki, if you do your history on the Congo, you will understand that the Congo was colonized. That's white supremacy, okay? Where people don't understand that the white supremacists of the UK, they are the leaders. They are the gods. They are the forefathers. They are the owners of white supremacy. They're the ones who first established it. And I don't just mean Britain. No, I mean, when we're talking, I know I say the UK, I mean Europe, period. We're talking about countries like France, Portugal, Spain, Danish, Belgium, Germany. All of these countries have white supremacists who started this system in order to 10% of the population control the 90%. How do you think white supremacists found out where Africa was? That's because a lot of the explorers back in the day, they called them Moors. They were just black people from different countries, but they called them Moors. They explored the world prior to any European, prior to a damn Christopher Columbus. They explored the whole world. And if you look up, the Moors actually conquered and ruled Spain for hundreds of years. And the only way they knew where Africa was is because those Moors they established trading routes, and they told those white supremacists, who they did not know was white supremacists, where Africa was, to open up better trade lines. That's where they knew. But the Congo was colonized. Nigeria was colonized. Kenya was colonized. Uganda, Angola, South Africa, Morocco, Zanzibar, Madagascar, Gambia, Namibia. It doesn't matter. They were all colonized. One of the few countries that was not colonized by the white supremacists, because they fought them off on the continent of Africa, was Ethiopia. Now, the other country that was not colonized, and they are still in shambles today, is Haiti. Haiti, back in 1812, if I got that number, 1804, back in 1804, the Haitians rose up against their French enslavers and killed everybody. They killed everybody. The Haitians killed everybody. There's been some talk and say, well, why haven't Black Americans rose up during those times and killed off all the slave owners and white supremacists? Why is it that Haiti could do it and the Black Americans in this country couldn't do it? Well, first and foremost, the Haitians had home field advantage. They outnumbered the French, 1. 2, they knew the land, just like the Native Americans couldn't get captured. And those Black Native Americans who were with the Black Seminoles and the regular Seminoles down in Florida, they didn't get captured. They was either getting killed or they fought. And there was a small handful of these Black Seminoles, around 300 to 400 of them, that was fighting off the U.S. Army. And they never got enslaved. But the Congo was colonized. Colonization is oppression. When a group of people come in and replace your rules, your laws, and replace it with their own, and then you start to learn their language. Here's another thing, Kiki. Your name is not Kiki. You have an African name, and you also have a white English name. Majority of the people that I know from certain countries in Africa, they have a couple of names. They have their white name from the UK, and they also have their African traditional cultural name from their tribe, from their group, from whatever traditions they have. They have a couple of names. You get what I'm trying to say? And when immigrants come over here from the Caribbean and Africa, they use these white names because they're more easily pronounced and pronunciated. But here's the thing. I want to know your African name. Teach us how to say your African name. Let's give honor to your African name. Me, I don't know my name. I know what I was named, but I don't know my name. I know that a lot of my roots stem from, because I did the whole ancestry.com bullcrap, yeah, you know, to Nigeria, Kenya, and some other places. But these are the things that we have to do study on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm winding down here, but I would like to show you one more thing before you guys get off. And I still see your notes. I'm going to read some of your notes. Okay. I still got a little bit of my cigar, still got a little bit of my drink left. But I do want to log in. Let me see if I can log in, remember my information here. And I want to show you my information right here. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find it. We don't have the lineage stemming back, so we got to do stuff like Ancestry.com, 123andMe. There's a lot of DNA companies, Black-oriented DNA companies that's coming out, so they can give us a better connection to our history. Let me look. I'm looking mine up right now. Give me a second. I don't want to bore you guys, but I do. Here we go. I think this is it. Let me make sure I do it. Let me see. I haven't been in here such a long time, so let me just work around this as you guys put in your notes. I'm really just trying to find. Let's see here. I want to show you where essentially my roots stem from. I thought I had it in here, but as I'm looking through here, family, I know I'm taking a lot of you guys' time, and I definitely want to give you some time back, okay? So here we go. Let me share this with you guys. So you guys know that this is me. Here we go. This is me. And it says here that DNA summary. You see this? DNA summary. It says Benin and Togo estimated 25%, Nigerian 25%, Cameroon, Congo, I'm 19%, 13% Mali. This is my DNA. 3% Senegal, 2% Wales. That's a white country. 2% Scotland. That's a white country. We're at 4%. Ivory Coast and Ghana. Ghana, I'll be there in March. Ghana, I will be there in March. Indigenous Americans North. That's AKA Native American. I'm 2% Native American, supposedly. 1% England and Northwestern Europe. Northern Philippines, yeah. Portugal, Norway, Northern Italy, 1%, 1%, 1%. And then as we're looking at this family, I think I supposedly be around 80% African. 86% African. That's my DNA. And the reason why you see such a large percentages and different percentages, that's because there was so much mixing of slaves when they brought them over here. Of course, with all the rape, torture that was occurring, all the mixtures, that is why you see such a large percentage differential, all the different DNAs that I have in my blood. All right. Kiki says, but I respect that if I wasn't Black American, I wouldn't be in the States. Well, thank you. See, again, sister, you're on code. You can rock with us. Elliot says, Black American is the 11th hour fight for survival. Past history shows me that slave labor, the making of white wealth. So beware, corporate America don't need slaves no more due to robots. That's a really powerful statement, brother. Wendell says, in my opinion, the buck breaking during pre-US 13 colonies, chattel slavery was far more severe than the other colonized America and Africa. Oh man, okay. Let's talk about this. I got about 5 more minutes in me. Let me just enjoy this. Give me a second. Give me a second. That YouTube Ice-T don't play. Buck breaking. Tariq Nasheed, one of the guys I follow, got a lot of respect for the brother. He made a documentary called Buck Breaking. Me and my fiance talked about this. Well, we're about to be married. We got our marriage license today. So in case you guys was wondering, wait a minute. I'm going to be married. And I'm only going to have, no, I'm kidding. I'm messing with you guys. Here's the thing. She said something very important. She said, due to buck breaking and the manipulation of our race, that when we start talking about the LGBTQI community, that the one thing that whether you subscribe to that community or not, first and foremost, you're Black first. No matter your sexual orientation, no matter your sexual behavior, you're Black first. That's number one. Then number two, what everybody needs to understand is when you become part of that community, you automatically contribute to the annihilation and the extinction of the Black race. Can I say that again? When you contribute, join, be a part of that community, you automatically start to decline our numbers for the Black race to be extinct. And if you think that this is not part of the white supremacy's plan to eliminate melanated people, then you are a fool not to know that. Why is it all of a sudden that all of these melanated people are now homosexual? And my disclaimer is I'm not speaking hate or derogatory terms against the LGBT community. I believe what you do is on your own accord, and you have the right to do what you want to do with your body and whoever you want to enjoy your body with, okay, whatever you subscribe to. But I want to put it on note that when you subscribe and you be a part of that community, that you automatically subscribe to a system that is part of the annihilation and extinction of the Black race. Because if you're part of that community, more times than not, you are not procreating. And I know some people, oh, well, we adopt and we froze eggs and we did all these things. It's not the same thing, family. We have non-Black people adopting our kids. That's a problem. Prominent Black people with financial resources, you should be looking to adopt if you can't have children. If you cannot have children, you should be looking to adopt. And for those of you who, like myself, subscribe to Kevin Samuels, who says a lot of great things. I like a lot of things that Kevin Samuels says. He talks about high value men and what women should expect. And this is why women will die single and alone, buy a dog, etc. All these key phrases, key terms that he uses. I'm with Kevin Samuels about 95%. There's 5% I don't agree with Kevin Samuels, but I will never bash a brother because he has really, really good content. The 5% I'm talking about is men. I don't care if you're a high value, medium value, low value. If you find a respectful, if you find a beautiful, and beautiful is whatever you consider beautiful, cooperative, feminine woman, and she has kids, and her kids respect you, marry that woman. Marry that woman, because that black woman needs a man, a black man in her life to help her raise her kids. First and foremost, men, don't do that stuff like, yeah, I ride with you, but you know, them kids got dads. They need to be taken care of. No, if you want to be with that woman, you're going to have to be with her kids too. And you're going to be the father figure, whether the dad lives down the street or not. You're still the father figure in that house. And the first thing before you move in, the first thing before you guys join forces, the first thing is that she is on code with you and with this the raising and the discipline of the kids, because those kids will be your kids. And she has to respect you. She has to trust you. Okay. And here's the thing, ladies. I know that all ladies, you put your kids first. I know you do. And I understand that. But here's the thing. One day, excuse me, one day those kids are going to be grown and they're going to leave the house. And the only thing that's going to be left is you and that man. The only thing left is going to be you and that man. And when you get married, I know this is going to be tough. When you get married, that man comes before your kids. And men, when you get married, that woman comes first before those kids, unless or except that man or woman is abusing you or the kids, then all bets are off. And abuse comes in many forms and fashions. I won't even get into that. Let's see here. Thank you, Elliot, for the congratulations. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, China. Thank you, Kiki. Wendell says, when you take on the role of a stepfather or stepmother, you increase the success of children in life on code. Thank you, brother. China says facts. Agreeing with Wendell. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you tonight. We covered a lot. If you want to rewind this video, in the beginning of the video, we did talk about Clear, the new IPO that was released. We talked about Duolingo, the app that I love because it taught me a lot of Portuguese. It taught me a lot of Spanish. July 30th, I'm going over to the Dominican Republic again with my family. We're going to have a family trip. We're going to be there, 5 or 6 days. We're going to have a good time. I'll probably gain about 5 pounds again. Next year, we're planning a trip to go to Ghana, Accra, Ghana, going to the capital city. I want to visit the homeland where my roots come from. You know what I noticed in the Black community, that when we travel outside of the Caribbean, you know where we go? Oh, I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Paris. I want to go to Rome. I want to go to Greece. Well, why don't you want to go to Africa? Why you don't want to go to the Congo? Why you don't want to go to Zimbabwe? Why you don't want to go to where the entire continent looks like you? You rather go to another continent and other countries where 1% of the people look like you. Just give that some thought. See, yeah. We go to the Caribbean, Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago, Puerto Rico. We go to all these Caribbean because they're beautiful and they're cheap to go to. Mexico, we go to all these places because they're cheap to go to, right? And oh, listen, even Mexicans are black. And Mexicans, if you really talk to a Mexican who's in their 30s or 40s, they'll tell you there's a lot of Afro Mexicans. Go look at a was it a city or a state in Mexico called Veracruz. There's a large black Afro Mexican population. Go there and see your people. Go to the Caribbean, see your people. Go to Africa and see your people. I'm not saying don't go to Italy. I'm not saying go to Greece. I'm not saying don't go. I'm just saying if you really want to take an international trip and you've never been to the continent of Africa, go there first. Go there first, see if you like it or not. Okay? Even though I say there's coons and sambos, there's coons and sambos in FBA world. But there's a lot of people on code. But go there and just engulf the culture, the food, the people, the tradition. Have a good time. That's all I'm saying. Demetrius Carter, I see you. What's up, brother? That's all I'm really saying, family. But I thank you for staying with me as long as you have. Again, we cover those stocks. We cover religious payouts because we understand that most religions are protected under the law for monetary reasons, monetary money reasons, okay? Because they're playing on your faith, okay? And we might have a whole cigar talk. We just may have a cigar talk about religion, okay? We just might have that conversation. It may not be that long. I might do one tomorrow night. I don't know yet, okay? We talked about that. We talked about black hate, okay? And I'm not trying to steal the Asian hate. They already got their executive order, but it's about time that we really start labeling black hate too, because it's been in fruition for the past 500 years and more. I'm going to read a couple of your comments here, then I'm going to get out of here. And also, if you will, please, family, after the video has ended, please leave a comment. Again, please leave a comment after the video has ended. Please let me know if you like these cigar talks. Also, if you want certain cigar talks that you want to have that discussion on, please leave that in the video afterwards as well. I'm going to read these notes and I'm going to get out of here. Elliot says, Richard Pryor said, back in the day, if you go to Africa, white people be walking down the street looking for another white person. He clowning. Maddox says, if I was not at work, I will call in someday, brother, sometime. Okay. Wendell, thumbs up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for staying with me as long as you have. Let's listen to this beat as we ride out. Again, I thank you for staying with me as long as you have. Until the next cigar talk, don't forget, leave a comment after the video is ended. Let me know, 1, you like the cigar talks, 2, what topics you want to hear, and 3, if you want to see me tomorrow night, because sometimes you can get too much of me. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Hopefully we all learned something. I definitely learned something from you guys. You guys are always educating and informing me while you listen to me give my own perspective and rhetoric. You guys have a great and wonderful night. I'm out. Good night, everybody.